Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm here. I was reading through Exodus, and it was just so exciting because you got this situation where Moses wandering through the wilderness or whatever. He sees this bush that's on fire but not burning up, and he said, he thinks to himself a very logical thought, I shall turn aside and see what this thing is all about. And he ends up meeting with Yahweh, and Yahweh's like, guess what? I got a big plan. It's going to change the world, and you're my man to do it. So Moses, I love how he's pictured because it's very realistic. The first thing he says is, I can't talk. I can't even talk. I'm at the wrong place. Hold on. Chapter 4, Stages of Doubt. There it is, down to chapter 4. That's why I can't see it. Exodus chapter 4 is where we're looking. Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, The Lord hath not appeared unto thee. And suddenly in my secular mind, I'm picturing someone who has a dream. Someone who just has a pat. Someone who has something. So important to say. So important to make. That it's like God it's like God himself has sent them to say it. And they've seen some amazing. They've seen a bush that was on fire but not burning. They have something to say. But as soon as the commission goes out, hey, now you go and tell, doubts come in. And the biggest doubt is people will say, the Lord hasn't spoken to you. That is, you're not a real artist. You're making this up. This is somehow illegitimate, not real prophecy. So Moses voices those doubts. And God says, what's in your hand? And Moses says, it's a stick. I got a stick. And God says, not a staff. It's not a staff. It's like a stick. It's like a lati. The sort of thing that you use to make your sheep go here or there. Imagine a pencil or a paintbrush if you want. So God says, throw it down on the ground. And he throws it on the ground. And it turns into a snake. Moses was not expecting this. It surprises him so much, he runs away from it. And then the Lord says, get it, pick it up by its tail. And it becomes a stick again. And God says, when they start to question you, do that. Do that trick. So you know what that's like? That's a reminder. You can do magic. Okay? Remember, once you turned a stick into a snake, or once you wrote a poem that was great, or once you did a picture that made someone go, ah, or once you saw something miraculous. And that's all it is. First thing, if they don't believe you, do this cool trick. Make this cool thing. Make a cool art, or whatever. And then they'll believe you. And then, God doesn't stop, because he's like, that's probably enough. Also, put your hand in your coat and take it out. And behold, it became like leprous, like a big leper's hand. And he's like, oh my God! Put it back in. Take it out again. Oh, good, it's fine. If they don't believe the first, they'll believe the second, says God. Now, what does that mean? See, there's two things here. It's like, remember that one time where something great happened and you did it, and you overcame, you grabbed that snake by the tail? Do that, that'll work. If that doesn't work, remember that one time where everything seemed absolutely horribly wrong for no reason? All of a sudden your hand was leprous. All of a sudden everything started to come crashing down and there was no real good reason for it either. And then you got through. Do you remember that time? That'll happen again. Those are your first two tricks. Those are your first two answers to doubt. But, and it shall come to pass if they don't believe thee, they'll hide, whatever. Then the next line, though, Moses says to the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant. I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. I don't talk so good. I don't want to do this. That's a decent doubt, really. Maybe you're not good at some aspect of what you want to do, right? Because here's the thing. I want to be a writer. I don't know anything about marketing. People are telling me I got to know that. God's saying, go to Pharaoh. Do all these wild and crazy miracles. I don't talk well. I'm not a public speaker. How does God respond to that? Now picture Val Kilmer. And the Lord said unto him, Who made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb, the deaf, the seeing, or the blind? Have not I? Now go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. Boom! God's asking for a big faith here, because Moses is saying, one aspect of this thing, I'm bad at. And God says, God is in the mission, the quest, the idea says, go do it anyway. I took care of it. I will take care of it. I am the Lord. Go. That's huge. That doesn't answer Moses. That doesn't answer. That's not enough for him. It really isn't. Because who is that enough for? There was probably a few people who were able to kind of put doubts in a basket, switch off something, and say, okay, fine, go. Right? More power to you if you can. I've been able to do that. But Moses can't handle that. And then Moses says, oh my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him thou wilt thou send. Basically, send somebody else. Send somebody else. And this is the first time where the Lord gets pissed. The anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. And he said, fine, take thy brother. He's a good speaker. And you know what? I'll talk to him. I'll get him to meet you. A little bit sharp with his words. I'm picturing a sharp tone of voice. And he, that is Aaron, will be thy spokesman unto the people. And thou shalt be to him instead of God, which is a weird line. And we'll have another episode to talk about that. But basically, God says, if you need help on this one thing, God will grumble a bit, but let it happen. You can bring Aaron, your brother. You can get your help. Just make sure you get it done. Ugh. Yeah. So, that's what I was thinking about when I was reading this. I figured like here we are, Exodus chapter 4. It's like if you ever believed that you really had to do something, and you were right about it. Like I'm not talking to you people who believe that you really ought to do something and that thing is stupid or not good for everybody. But I don't know what your things are, so you got to figure that out yourself. So there's the stages of doubt. I'm going to write it up nice for later.